everyone! So MAC released their newest collection, Objects of Affection, on October 27th online and October 30th in stores and at counters. The collection featured 3 lip gloss sets and 3 mini pigment sets, as well as 1 online exclusive pigment set. This collection is part 3 of MAC's overall holiday collections, and it follows the same trend as the rest with having very glittery, sparkly packaging. I did previously review one of the lip gloss sets, so feel free to click the thumbnail and check it out if you're interested in those. While these gift sets are limited edition, some of the shades within them are part of the permanent range and can be purchased at any time. Also, by purchasing these sets, you are getting a very good value. A full-size pigment and a full-size glitter are 0.15 ounces each, and they regularly retail for $21 US, $25 in Canada. Earlier this year, MAC also introduced the size to go pigments. They're smaller size than a full-size pigment, they're 0.09 ounces, and they individually retail for $10 US, $12 in Canada. So with that said, each of the mini pigment sets contain roughly $60 to $70 worth of product each. The silver and blue pigments and glitter set retails for $35 US, $42 in Canada. The pigments are 0.09 ounces, and the glitter is 0.14 ounces. The set itself is limited edition. White is described as a soft pearl white. It is a permanent shade. Blue Noir is described as a dirty grayish blue. This is a limited edition shade. Deep blue green is described as a rich deep bluish green. It is a permanent shade. Dark Soul is described as a charcoal black smoke with gold. It is a permanent shade. And gray is described as a sparkly chunky gray glitter. It is a limited edition shade. White is a light pale silver white with cool undertones and a frosted sheen finish. The texture was silky, soft, smooth, easy to work with, and blend. When applied dry, it was semi-sheer, and when applied wet, it was mostly opaque, more vibrant, and had a stronger sheen. This shade lasted 9.5 hours before fading. Blue Noir is a medium blue teal with cool undertones and a frosted finish. The texture was soft, smooth, easy to work with, and blend. When applied dry, it was semi-sheer, and when applied wet, it was mostly opaque, a tad more vibrant, and smoother. This shade lasted 8 hours before fading. Deep Blue Green is a dark black and teal with cool undertones and a frosted metallic finish. The texture was soft, smooth, incredibly easy to work with and blend. When applied dry, it was semi-sheer and more prone to fallout, and when applied wet, it was pigmented, opaque, vibrant, and had a much stronger sheen. This shade lasted 9.5 hours before fading. Dark Soul is a medium to dark black with cool undertones, silver sparkle, and a semi-matte finish. The texture was soft, finely milled, smooth, and the sparkle was noticeable. When applied dry, it was sheer but buildable, and when applied wet, it was mostly opaque but harder to blend out. This shade faded in my crease 7 hours into wear. The gray glitter is a medium to dark purple gray with cool undertones and a chunky texture. This glitter is labeled as not being recommended for use in the eye or lip area. The pink and rose pigments and glitter retail for $35 US, $42 in Canada. The pigments are 0.09 ounces and the glitter is 0.14 ounces. The set itself is limited edition. Whisper Pink is described as a soft beige pink with pearl. This shade is limited edition. Tan is described as a muted pinky brown bronze. It is a permanent shade. Rose is described as a rose with copper sparkle. This is also a permanent shade. Heritage Rouge is described as a dirty brown plum. This is a permanent shade. And Raining Riches is described as a soft copper glitter. This is a limited edition shade. Whisper Pink is a light yellow pink with cool undertones, gold shimmer, and a frosted sheen. The texture was on the chunky side, making it a bit more difficult to blend out evenly and smoothly. When applied dry, it was semi-sheer, and when applied wet, it was still semi-sheer, but leaned more pink than gold. This shade lasted 8 hours before fading. Tan is a medium to dark copper brown with warm undertones and a metallic finish. The texture was soft, smooth, easy to work with, and blend. When applied dry, it was mostly opaque, and applied wet, it was fully opaque. This shade lasted 8 hours before fading. Rose is a medium to dark pink rose with gold shimmer, warm undertones, and a frosted metallic sheen. The texture was on the chunkier side, making it more difficult to blend out evenly and smoothly. When used dry, it was semi-sheer and more prone to fallout, and applied wet, it was mostly opaque. This shade is a little difficult to work with just because you do need to work it into the skin in order to break the pigment down. It lasted 8.5 hours before fading. Heritage Rouge is a medium to dark burgundy plum with warm undertones and a pearl finish. The texture was soft, smooth, easy to work with, and blend. When applied dry, it was mostly opaque but blended easily on the skin. Applied wet, it was more opaque, pigmented, smooth, and vibrant. This is probably my favorite pigment shade of all time. This shade lasted 9.5 hours before fading. The Raining Riches glitter is a medium to dark copper with warm undertones and a small fine texture. This glitter is not recommended for use in the eye or lip area. The gold and beige pigments and glitter set retails for $35 US, $42 in Canada. The pigments are 0.09 ounces and the glitter is 0.14 ounces. The set itself is limited edition. Lithe is described as a peachy nude. It is a limited edition shade. English Gilt is a bright champagne. It is a limited edition shade. Pretty It Up is described as a dirty olive with pearl. It is a limited edition shade. Deep Brown is described as a dark chocolate brown. It is a permanent shade. And Gold is described as a sparkly chunky gold glitter. It is a permanent shade. Lithe is a light to medium yellow gold with warm undertones and a frosted sheen finish. The texture was soft, smooth, and silky. When applied dry, it was semi-sheer, and when applied wet, it was more opaque and even. This shade lasted 8 hours before fading. English Gilt is a medium yellow bronze with warm undertones and a metallic finish. The texture was soft, smooth, finely milled, and easy to work with and blend. When applied dry, it was mostly opaque, and applied wet, it was fully opaque and had a much stronger metallic finish. This shade lasted 8.5 hours before fading. Pretty It Up is a medium to dark golden bronze with slight olive shift, warm undertones, and a metallic finish. The texture was chunkier but broke down easily. It applied smoothly and blended nicely. When applied dry, it was mostly opaque, and applied wet, it was fully opaque, pigmented, and had an intense metallic finish. This shade lasted 9 hours before fading. Deep Brown is a medium to dark muted brown with hints of gray, warm undertones, and a matte finish. The texture was incredibly soft, smooth, silky, and finely milled. When applied dry, it was mostly opaque but a little difficult to blend out evenly. Normally matte finishes can't be used wet, but when I experimented and I did use this pigment wet, it applied more evenly and more opaque. It held up pretty well. This shade lasted 8 hours before fading. The Gold glitter is a light to medium gold with warm undertones and a small fine texture. This glitter is not recommended for use in the eye area. Overall, these sets are a really great value, and the sets themselves are really nice to have. Despite the pigment jars being on the smaller side, and sometimes fitting a brush into them can be a little tricky. Pigments are incredibly easy to use, and they're very versatile. You can use pigments dry to create a soft, subtle look. You can use them wet to create a dramatic, bold look. You can use them as cheek colors, or you can even pair them with lip products. The list of options and uses is endless. Pigments are awesome. So I highly recommend checking out these pigment sets, whether you're planning to gift them or just to collect them yourself. So be sure to let me know in the comments below if any of these sets have caught your eye, or if you're planning on picking up anything out of the Objects of Affection collection. Like I said, I do have a review up for the lip gloss set, so feel free to go and check it out. Also, don't forget to check out my blog for more details, photos, and swatches, as well as like, comment, and subscribe to show your support. If you'd like to give me a follow, all of my social media links are listed down below in the description. As I always say, I hope you found this review helpful, and I hope that you have a fantastic day, and thank you so much for watching.